Yo, what's good? Right, so we're gonna get straight into this week's recap of last week's recap. We're currently started a new week. We're already on Tuesday, but we're gonna recap this week from 26th to the 30th. Took three trades, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and one on Thursday. Did not trade Monday or Friday last week. All happened to be L's, other than this one. These were all like L's. Like this one was just a little bit iffy because I got uh, an earlier entry um, when I should have entered down at the key level at 2500 and waited for the retest. We got the retest, and then right after we got the retest, price just pummeled up towards 2520s, which was my target. But unfortunately, we got stopped out because I entered earlier, and that ended up being a loss when it could have been avoided. Because I didn't wait for the right confirmations. I just wanted to hop in rather than being patient. So that was a loss that could have been avoided, but unfortunately we took it, and I did not re-enter afterwards because I did not want to overtrade. But we'll start at Tuesday, which was the first trade of the week. We took some sells at London close, or after London close at 2500. Let's go down to the lower time frames real quick. So when I'm looking at price here, price has been trending bearish on the lower time frames leading up to um to London close slash NYSE open. Um, so coming into coming towards London close, I seen this massive rejection, and this was kind of like a double top formation. Even though we had this like minor support level, we also had, if you go on the higher time frames, we also had a failure to make new highs right here. So price trended up after a pullback, trended back up towards the highs, but could not make it towards the highs. And then we started shifting below this level right here at 2508, around that area, created a new low, and price started to show rejection here and form like a smaller resistance level on the lower time frames. And because it was late in the day, I was expecting that prices more than likely going to continue the trend after we had like this whipsaw and indecision leading up to London close, obviously due to NYSE open and stuff like that. So I did take some sells based on this kind of like double top that formed. I kind of double top that formed. Um, but I didn't really think that this um, lower time frame, like minor support level, would hold. But unfortunately, there was a deeper pullback, you could say, um, to retest these highs again after after London close, which stopped me out for 50 pips on gold. Not the best setup, I'm not gonna lie. It was a pretty shitty setup. I could have avoided taking it at all. Because I believe if we go down to the lower time frames, we actually had in this area of like a higher time frame double top, we had also like a double top formation happening on the lower time frame. So that was like another confirmation for me here. We had like this 1 minute resistance level forming, and this was London close right here. Price dumped, made a new low, um, and price did retest and showed rejection. Unfortunately, could not make a new low below here and ended up spiking up and wiping this low out here. But then even after that spike up, price did dip a little bit lower to make new lows below here, but then eventually took off towards the 2525s. Um, and yeah, it resulted in a loss, unfortunately. Managed risk um, after coming off like a 4 to 5 win streak last week. It was expected to take a loss or something like that in the near future because you don't just win forever. But, yeah, it wasn't the best trade. I'm not going to lie. Um, kind of did a little bit rush into it, but is what it is. It was managed, didn't overtrade, and moved on to the next day. Now, the next day was a lot better actually because we had that significant high time frame pullback, like from the highs here, and then we started showing major rejection to the downside, leading up to NYSE Open and London Close. Now, this high time frame rejection perfect, and the fact that we were basically forming a minor. I think did we pull back to an intraday support? I believe we might have. Yeah, we did actually. So this was a support level. I'm pretty sure I had marked when I was doing my analysis on the high time frame. So we did tap into that level here. So this was like a heavy price AOI on the high time frames. Price rejected once again shows major rejection, and this is where we started to print nice price action on the low time frames to give us an entry to get back in for the buys and retest the highs again. And that's basically what happened. It's just unfortunate I got in a little bit around here, even though price was looking shit and very indecisive leading up to London close. I got in a little bit earlier, but if you look after London close, if you waited patiently, price dumped a little bit further to create this like 5 minute slash 15 minute double bottom in the price AOI, and then yeah, we got exactly what we wanted after that price pushed back above the key level at 2500 after it dipped lower slightly at the end of the day, took off for the rest of the day, even leading into the next daily candle. So yeah, that was the buys there. Unfortunately, I got a little bit impatient and entered a bit too early. I kind of knew that this wasn't the best place to enter, even on the 1 minute, but it was showing signs of like minor double bottoms. But I shouldn't have been paying it. And like price was holding above here, so this looked pretty good to me. That it was holding above there on the 1 minute, but 1 minute price action doesn't really mean that much unless you've got like all the confluences on the other time frames, and that's what I should have waited for. I knew that it would have been better to wait for price to try and retest these lows again that were made previously earlier in the day to create that double bottom formation, and then if price pushes back above the key level and actually remains above here, then it makes sense to take a buy above 2500, and you could have had your stop a lot closer to those lows. I personally don't have a stop above 50 pips for my positions because I don't want to be going for more than 150 pips on gold to get a 1 to 3. I just don't think it's worth it. I'd rather not enter the trade if I have to have a stop loss wider than that. So, yeah. Fortunately, that was a loss because we ended up a bit entered up here 50 pips higher than we should have, which ended up stopping us out by the time price actually got to our actual entry where we should have took the buys. But yeah, those ran off. That could have been avoided, that loss, but it wasn't, unfortunately. So that was the second loss of the week. Now it's going to the final trade, which is some more gold sells. This time from 2520s, and we had a nice formation on the higher time frames now, because now prices like retested this this intraday AOY at basically 25.25s and 20/25. Well, yeah, basically 25.25s, like that key level. Um, so price had retested this for the third time now. Well, basically the third time. We were. That's what happened later in the day. Again, you could argue I got a little bit of an earlier entry, but we didn't actually end up dumping until Friday anyway. So didn't really matter unless you took your sells on Friday. But I personally did not take a trade on Friday because I was on a 3 losing streak at this point. So yeah, I decided to take Friday off and focus on the next week ahead. Um, and luckily enough, the risk reward from last week was able to compensate for all three of these losses anyway. So I didn't really want to suffer more pain, and I wanted to keep those profits. So I didn't decide to trade Friday. But yeah, let's just break down this uh, sell on Thursday. So price was pushing into the 25 AOY again. And I believe after this rejection here and after the London close is where I basically got in. So we're roughly in the area of the 25's AOY, and I'm looking at lower time frame price action after London close, and I'm seeing exhaustion at the highs. We've created kind of a double bottom as we dumped initially, pulled back, and retested these previous highs that we had at 25.23. Price come back, showed signs of rejection again, began to start pushing down, and this is where I entered the sells at 25.20s, and with the stop basically above the highs that were previously made. Unfortunately, price wasn't ready to dump at that point, and it just pushed further into the 25.25s AOY, which realistically, because it was so close, I probably should have waited for it to retest just a little bit more before I decide to take a lower time frame entry. But yeah, unfortunately, that was a loss as well, the final loss of the week, which concludes the week. Um, yeah, I was looking at lower time frame price action. It was looking very good in this area. We were very close to an intraday AOY. We were after London close, which is kind of one of my rules there. Um, and yeah, because I tend to see like volume and momentum slow down or switch after London close. Because price was trending pretty much so well upwards throughout the early parts of Thursday. Um, it kind of made sense to take these sells basically on the reversal as we started to see intraday higher time frame exhaustion at the 25.25s level. But unfortunately, on Thursday, it wasn't ready to fully drop. It then dropped when we got way more confirmation with more rejection on Friday. We actually rejected this zone 4 times, and after this final rejection here on Friday, it would have made sense to take sells below here. If you did, quite of a shitty week. I made a few mistakes that I'm not proud of. That we're gonna review a little bit more and refine and be a little bit more patient and have a more of a clear cut entry type. And if price doesn't look as good as I would like it to, just it's sometimes in best scenarios it's just best to stay out and not risk the capital. But yeah, I came down off a pretty hype week the week before, going completely flawless. So yeah, it's kind of a mistake that I made, being a little bit too confident um, in kind of shittier setups. So the only really good entry and like kind of setup was on Wednesday, and I probably could have got a nice sell setup on Friday had I took or even analyzed price properly that day. But I had kind of in my head already decided that I wasn't going to trade that day after taking these 3 losses. So yeah, fortunately, kind of bad end to August because I ended up getting 3 more losses than I shouldn't have had. But thank God to the high risk to reward type of system that I have, we were able to still come out profitable, even having a pretty bad win rate over August. So yeah, that's recaps the week from the 26th of August to the 30th. Yeah, it was actually my birthday week. Had a pretty good weekend this week, celebrating it with the people that matter the most. So yeah, but that's nothing to do with this. I was just going to recap because I want to be transparent and kind of keep on top of the recaps for the future. Even though this week was extremely bad for me, not extremely bad, but it was pretty bad for me. But yeah, managed risk on all these trades, and I'm happy with the losses. It didn't overtrade. But I would have now looking at these sells and this sell here in hindsight, I would have waited for more confirmation to take those sells. Definitely this sell here. This was way too early to start selling. I should have like at least waited for something like this afterwards. But unfortunately, this was out of my session time when this sell happened. Um, so yeah, the same with these buys back up towards 25.25. It was out of my session. But yeah, guys, we're gonna go through next week later. I haven't took any trades so far for the week. It was a bank holiday yesterday, so I kind of just left price to do its thing. Looking like we're creating a nice intraday support here. It could be coming back up to test these highs again, or it might not make it that far. Who knows? Let's see. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.